Welcome to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Spartans! What is your profession? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
It's time!
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated, and HLAC certified to the highest standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at walkermls.com.
Chiefs.
At this point, that's premature. We do have 6.5 years left on our lease at Arrowhead, and GHA Field at Arrowhead is a special place, and it's special for our fans, and it's special for the players and coaches. But we do have to look to the future, and we do need a solution starting in 2031, which I know that Mark mentioned. We're glad to have some options. We really appreciate what the Kansas legislature did in passing the upgrade to the Star Bond bill that potentially would give us an opportunity to look at a stadium over there. And we're going to work very hard over the coming months and years to come up with a solution that makes sense for the organization, for the team, but also one that makes sense for the community.
Yeah, man, I think those guys, obviously they mean a lot to our team. They're a huge chunk of our personality, but that personality changes year to year. We got a lot of guys that have been waiting to thrive in these moments. Brian Cook, Shamari's involved in his role, Jay Reed's coming back. We got Drew that came back from last year. Leo's kind of emerging as one of those guys, being a little bit more vocal as he gets more comfortable. So I think it takes a little bit of everybody to kind of build a personality of your team, and I kind of think that's what training camp's for. You find out what your personality is, find out what your DNA is, and find out what you're made of.
No, it's pretty open. So you got fighting for that. You got Josh, you got Jalen, you got NJ. NJ, he would have had an interception today. To your point, he was set to make it, but he's been coming on. You know, he was injured last year, but I think it's wide open, and I think all three of those guys know that.
The Kansas City Royals.
Look at this, though. It don't matter. And how far will he go? And the ball sticks in between the padding and the dirt, and that's enough for Junior to have a one-out triple. Bobby Witt Jr. is 10 for 12 since the All-Star game.
10th triple to watch him run. Look at this. This guy is an incredible athlete. Elite speed to go along with 26 doubles and 17 big flies. There's some extra base hits there.
Salvi, deep center field. Back goes Thomas. Gone! Wow, the captain, man, he really aired that one out. 11 for 13 since the All-Star break. High fly ball, deep left center field. Gone!
Yeah, the boys are playing some ball.
He is a single shy of hitting for the cycle, and we're in the 4th inning. And they have improved to 4-0 on this homestand. 9-6 in July. Bobby Witt Jr. has another huge night, falling a single shy of hitting for the cycle. 10 runs, 15 hits.
I got ejected by Jordan Baker. I never said one thing to Salvador Perez. I love Salvador Perez. I think he's been an unbelievable Major League player, and I'm a huge fan of his. I just wanted him to hear what I was going to say to Jordan. And what I said was, if you think in your right mind that I was going to try ask our team or my team to hit the future of Major League Baseball, one of the best players in Major League Baseball, you're crazy. And you lost control of this situation, and you got it wrong. That's exactly what I said to Jordan Baker, and I wanted Salvi to hear that. I want him to take it back to their dugout to make sure that he understood that that's how I felt about the situation, and that's how I feel about Bobby Witt Jr. He's an unbelievable player, and I would never, ever endorse hitting another player. I would never, ever do that.
It's hard to describe. You know, I mean, the power he displays, the poise at the plate, it's like he's playing a different game, you know, and even the guys, they're all like, you know, are you kidding me? You know, just because Castro is no easy right-hander to face, and he comes in there that first pitch, and you know, you don't expect him to hit a homer, but I guess you maybe start trying to expect it. It's incredible what he's doing right now, absolutely incredible.
What was your perspective with him on football this season?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that he got hit. You know, I don't know what to really think about the intent behind it. He handled it the way he should have. You know, he's a pro. He went to first, ran the bases hard. We scored a run. You know, the unfortunate part for me was just that it's hard to see another team talking to your players, and that's what was the most frustrating thing. I think that's why it got out of hand.
Yeah, the boys are playing some ball.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you so much for joining us. Stephen St. John live at Bearley's Bar inside Stony Creek Hotel and Conference Center. I'm out of the hotel room, so no more bedroom voice. No more sultry Stephen in the bedroom, so I don't awake any of the wonderful people here. My wife no longer has to sleep with a pillow over her head to prevent her from listening to the show. Instead, she's down here listening. A huge listener of the show, Susan, stopped by just to say hello and lend her support to New Day with SSJ. So glad to have her as she awaits the Chuck Wagon to open up at 6:30. That's exciting. We'll see what hot breakfast they have. We'll also have a little bit later on Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride call in with a live camp report. How about this? Gary Pinkel, Hall of Fame football coach, Hall of Fame college football coach, the all-time winningest coach at Toledo and at Mizzou.
Remarkable.
And a good friend of the show. It is remarkable. He's going to stop by here before he heads over to practice to check things out. And then I will be heading over to practice when we're done at about 8:30. And that's when Annie Rogers from MLB.com will come on to talk about everything that happened last night at Kauffman Stadium. And then Jeff Chadilla from NFL Network and NFL.com will be in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. We also have Nate Bukaty as our co-host today. Good morning, Nate. How are you?
Good morning, Stephen. I'm great. How are you?
Oh, just wonderful.
Yeah.
Glad to hear your voice. That just put a big jolt of enthusiasm right into my body.
You and the rest of Kansas City.
I'm not going to tell you how it got in there, but it got in there. It's in there, and I felt it. Yeah, it feels good. Straighten my back up. And then, of course, we got Jake Gutierrez. Do we have an intern?
Vito, the intern.
Tell Vito, the intern, I apologize for not returning his text message. I was incapacitated for most of the day. You guys know why. You can tell him off the air, but I was out of it, bro. It was a no good. And so, but I'm back, and I'm not better than ever, but I'm here and ready to roll because let me tell you something. I'm up here covering Chiefs training camp. This is the 32nd year I've been up in St. Joseph, Missouri. Unbelievable to think it's been that long, but I've been up here all these years to cover Chiefs training camp. And it's been very rare in my time that when I'm up at Chiefs training camp, and especially during the Mahomes era, it has not happened during the Mahomes era, where the Royals have been able to steal the headlines away from the Chiefs right in the heat, right in the thick of Chiefs training camp. And that is exactly what happened last night and what has happened today. All the talk is about the Kansas City Royals. Number one, they are back in the race in the AL Central. Things have tightened up quite a bit because the Cleveland Guardians have come back down to earth, and so have the Minnesota Twins, and the Kansas City Royals are red hot. The Guardians have lost 3 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Although the Twins did win, they're only 5-5 in their last 10, while the Red Hot Royals have won 4 in a row, and they're 8-2 in the last 10 games. So when you wake up this morning and take a look at the AL Central standings, the Guardians are 59-40, and then the Twins are 55-44, and the Royals are 56-45. So the Twins and Royals both only 4 games behind Cleveland, 4 games out of first place. The Royals are tied for second, and they are only 4 games behind Cleveland for the AL Central lead. Then when you take a look at the wild card race, the Yankees still remain atop of the wild card hunt. They are 3.5 games up in the wild card, but the Twins and the Royals again tied. They are tied for spots 2 and 3 in the wild card spot. And talking about falling apart, right now the Boston Red Sox are going through a tough stretch. They have lost 4 in a row, while the Royals have won 4 in a row. So the last 4 days, the Royals have picked up 4 games on the Red Sox and turned a 2-game deficit into a 2-game advantage. And so right now, the Royals and the Twins have a 2-game lead over the Boston Red Sox for the second and third wild card spots. After the Red Sox, the Mariners are 3.5 back, Tampa's 5.5 back, and the Rangers, or the Tigers are 6 back, and the Rangers are 7.5 back. I don't think we need to go any deeper than that. But the Royals, they have things rolling right now. And why? Well, the starting pitching's been terrific. Another good start. So 4 games, 4 good starts, 4 quality starts. Some have been better than others, but all 4 winning performances by the starting pitchers. That's you got to have that, okay? Because no matter what Bobby Witt Jr. does, if the starters are getting rocked, then the Royals aren't going to win. And the starters have been excellent since the All-Star break. They were great before the All-Star break, but everyone's had a good start coming out of the All-Star break. But then you get to Bobby Witt Jr., and make no mistake about it, he's playing better than anyone in the sport of baseball right now. Right now, as we sit on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. is the best player in baseball. And don't let anyone tell you different, because they're either biased or they're lying to you because they don't respect you. All right? And if they don't respect you, then what are you talking to them for? Bobby Witt Jr. is the best player in baseball right now. Bobby Witt Jr., since the All-Star break, is you can't stop him. He's only made 3 outs on the homestand. This is game number 5 coming up tonight. They've had 4 games, and he's made 3 outs on the homestand. That doesn't even sound right, but it is. Bobby Witt Jr. Since the All-Star break, he's 12 for 15. 12 for 15. He has 5 extra base hits. He has 6 ribbies. He scored 7 runs. And we're only talking about 4 games. He was a single short of the cycle. And that would have been the first cycle since George Brett hit for the cycle in 1990. When Susan and I were celebrating our graduation from high school. We were kids fresh out of high school, and George Brett hit for the cycle. I looked at that and said, I wonder when that's going to happen again. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't happened. And now Susan and I we're in love, we're together, and she's rolling her eyes right now, but no cycle. All we want is a cycle to celebrate as a married couple. Can we not get that? Apparently not. And damn it could have happened last night. The Royals are 56-45, I mentioned. They've equaled their entire victory total of a year ago. They were 56-106. It's July 23rd right now, and the Royals have equaled their win total of the entire season last year. This is what I'm saying. Huh? They won 56 games last year.
Yes.
And they've won 56 games this year. Bobby Witt Jr.'s 12 hits are tied for the most in a player's first 4 games following the All-Star break, with 1994 Dante Bichette, 1970 Lou Brock, 1956 Alvin Dark, 1950 Ted Kluszewski, and, of course, 1938 Wally Berger. Frank Bowl remembers that. That was Frank Bowl. That was one of Frank Bowl's favorite players as a young man. Wally Berger. Bobby Witt Jr. is the first player to record 3+ hits in each of his first 4 games following the All-Star break. By the way, if you want great statistical analysis and fun things like that, tweet it out. Follow Sarah Langs, S. Langs on Sports. All of this happened. It's happening. We're watching this. And on top of that, we almost see a base brawl last night. And that had everyone talking. Bobby Witt Jr. comes up to the plate with a chance to hit for the cycle. The game is already out of hand. The game's already over. The Diamondbacks' asses have already been kicked. But we want to see Bobby Witt Jr. hit for the cycle, like I said. First time since 1990 for a member of the Royals. It's a big deal. And it's just, it's must-watch TV when he's at the plate. Because you could do anything. I mean, we're watching something, as a great man once said, I have never seen anything in my life. I think we could all agree with that. Although George Brett, we're going to get to that in a minute. And I sent you guys an article on X. I'm overwhelmed with 0 responses from any of you, so I don't know if you saw it or not, but, it's par for the course.
I've never seen anything in my life.
Right, I've never seen anything in my life. But last night, I did not like what I saw in my life when I saw Bobby Witt Jr. get hit by a pitch. Because, look, that could have been – we all know what that could have been. Can you imagine if that pitch would have hit him on the hand? Can you imagine if that pitch would have hit him in a place that would have caused him to leave the game or to have an injury or to go on the IL? It makes you sick to even think about it, right? But that could have happened. And we watched that, and Salvador Perez in the on-deck circle was pissed. Salvi called the I saw words I shouldn't repeat in Spanish that he was calling the pitcher puta. What? I didn't say it, Sue. Did you hear me say it? Sue told me not to say it. Did you guys hear me?
I didn't hear anything.
Right, nothing. I didn't hear anything. But Salvi was pissed. For a minute there, I think he's going to charge the mound from the on-deck circle. And fine, I'm with it. Uncle Salvi taking care of the kids. And look, we say this about Mahomes all the time. Just when you think you couldn't love Patrick Mahomes anymore, then he goes and he does this. It's like with me. Just when I think I couldn't love Susan anymore, she goes and does this. Just when we think we couldn't love Salvador Perez anymore, it looks like he's willing to fight the Arizona Diamondbacks, just in general, all of them. We all love that, right? You're protecting your guy. You're protecting the best player in baseball. You're protecting the guy that's going to help you get back to the postseason if you're Salvador Perez. And that was great. That was shades of 2014 and 2015. That's what it reminded me of. And Salvi was there for both of them. Salvi's been there for both of them. What an incredible, again, for the dorks that come on the radio. He's not even close to being a Hall of Famer. I don't think so. Shut up. That's why we love Salvi. He connects us to the last time the Royals were competing for a playoff spot, and here he is again.
Thank you, my friend.
Playing at a high level, acting as a captain, being a leader, and threatening to whip ass, and cursing out opposing pitchers in Spanish. That's what a captain does.
Thank you, my friend.
Look it up. And when Castellanos hit Bobby Witt Jr. with that pitch, I'm like, I can't believe they did this. Is he okay? Is he good? And then I'm thinking, retaliate. I know that's not what you're supposed to do in baseball anymore. Retaliate. So shout out to John Schreiber, who did retaliate. As well he should have, and plunked their catcher in the back.
That is awesome.
And then you got all hell breaking loose. Then the ump and everyone, they gather up and they give an official warning to both teams, to both dugouts. That's what you're supposed to do. There was nothing wrong with that. But the Diamondbacks didn't like that for whatever reason. And Torey Lovullo, the manager of the Diamondbacks, comes out and he's pissed. And he's arguing. And then there's Salvi again. He waves Salvi over. And we'll listen to the full clip. He waves Salvi over. Because he wanted Salvi to hear what he was telling the ump. And he was telling the ump that, he'd have to be an idiot to hit the best player in baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. Why would he do that in that situation? And he wanted Salvi to hear that and take that back to the dugout, that it was not intentional and he would not order that done. And so, and you could see at that point Salvi's nodding his head like in agreement. But then something else was said that set Salvi off. So Lovullo didn't give us the whole story, because then his bench coach comes out, and then something else is said, because then Salvi was pissed, takes his mask off, and he was ready to roll. And so we could play. I mean, what am I missing here? You want to add anything to that, Nate or Jake?
No, I think you got it. That's all how it went down.
And look, I remember when Mike Anderson came back to Mizzou Arena to take on Frank Haith's Mizzou team, and Phil Pressey used to play for Mike Anderson, and Phil Pressey was playing for Frank Haith and Mizzou, and there was a point where something happened, and Mike Anderson started talking to Phil Pressey, and Frank Haith ran over there and acted like he wanted to fight Mike Anderson, and the whole point was, don't talk to my players. That used to be your player, but you don't talk to my players. That's a thing, right? And that's Matt Quatrero got pissed off about that, and he ran out there. He doesn't want the opposing manager, hey, Salvi, come here, talking to Salvi. Some people could roll their eyes at that. That's the way it is. Managers don't want the other manager talking to their players in that situation. And so we've got Chiefs stuff. We're going to talk Chiefs. We're going to talk football. But this is what's going on right now, baby. Bobby Witt Jr. And now he might equal what George Brett did so many years ago. This is 4 games in a row where he has had at least 3 hits. And I love it, because this is just another reminder, another opportunity to remind people how great George Brett was. George Brett had 6 in a row, which we think about like, wow, that's unbelievable. Who else could do that? Well, Bobby Witt Jr. might do that. And I tweeted Todd, Nate, Jake, and Scotty Carroll yesterday a story from the Sporting News from 2019, remembering George Brett's incredible streak of 3-hit games in May 1976. And he said, not every cool baseball feat gets the love it deserves. We tend to lump all the praise on what one might call Tier 1 historic accomplishments, super long hitting streaks, high strikeout games, 4 homer games, etc. But there are other in-season feats throughout baseball history that perhaps should be called Tier 1.5 accomplishments. Super cool things that tend to go undiscussed and unnoticed. But we need to remember them and appreciate them. George Brett has one of those Tier 1.5 things that he accomplished during a torrid 6-game stretch in May 1976. May 8th to May 13th, Brett had an incredible streak of 6 straight games with at least 3 hits. 6 games with at least 3 hits. That's rare, so rare that Brett is one of only 2 players in MLB history to do it, and the only one since 1923. Brett went 18 for 26 over the 6 games. 3 for 4 against the Orioles, 3 for 5 against the Orioles, 3 for 5 against the Twins, 3 for 3 plus a walk against the Twins, 3 for 5 against the Twins, then 3 for 4 against the White Sox. Before the streak, he was hitting .277. After the streak, he was hitting .396. 5 of those hits came against Jim Palmer and Bert Blyleven, 2 future Hall of Famers in their prime. Palmer won the Cy Young Award that year. The streak came to an end May 14th when Brett went over 2 with a walk and a sacrifice fly in a 7-1 Royals win. The hot stretch helped put Brett on the cover of the Sporting News a few weeks later, with George Brett sitting on second base saying, "Number 1 third sacker, George Brett, Kansas City Royals." Brett went on to lead the AL in hits, batting average, triples, and total bases. Who's that sound like? Anyone familiar?
George Brett.
Who does that sound like?
Bobby Witt Jr.
There we go.
I'm looking. I didn't get this text, man.
A tweet.
Oh, a tweet.
I tagged you in a tweet, in a post.
I'm going through my text. I'm like, why didn't I read this?
I was doing the same thing.
I'm like, where did I miss this
Look
article?
at your tweets.
Ah.
Look at your tweets.
That damn Twitter.
And I sent this to you. Well, I sent this to you in the afternoon. I think I sent this to you from Chiefs practice.
Now I see.
Well before. Just in case. Bobby Witt Jr. had 3 hits again last night, and he did.
He did.
I'm frantically going through my text messages. I'm like, why didn't I see this?
Same thing.
Sorry, dude.
Brett ended up with a 7.5 B WAR that year, his first of 13 straight All-Star appearances, and a second-place finish behind the late Thurman Munson in MVP voting. And he led the Royals to 90 wins and a division title. So when I say I've never seen anything like this in my life, I have, but I was 3.5 years old.
I have
so
never
I
seen
kind of saw
anything
it.
in my life.
You know.
So I've never
happened
seen anything in my life.
Right, but
Until you looked at Twitter
again. Isn't it amazing? Like who else has done something like this? Oh, George Brett.
Right.
And there's so many similarities, right? Leading the league in hits, leading the league in total bases, leading the league in triples. All these things. Taking a team that wasn't in the playoffs and helping get them to the postseason. Remember, 76 was the first year the Royals made the postseason. And so that I hope by reading that gives some people out there like Jake that didn't see it, or did you guys? We briefly mentioned it on the show yesterday. That's why
I remember that.
I sent it to you guys. But I mean, just to hear it and to understand it, I hope does 2 things. Number 1, makes people that didn't experience it appreciate George Brett even more, because we always talk about hitting .390. And the Pine Tar home run, and the home run in the playoffs against George Brett, and the 1,000 OPS in the playoffs, all those great things. But there's other things along the way, like he got at least 3 hits in 6 straight games, and he faced 2 Hall of Fame pitchers. Oh, okay. I mean, things like that. But now to bring those up, we're watching Bobby Witt Jr. do similar things. So 1, appreciate what George Brett was. 2, appreciate what Bobby Witt Jr.'s doing. Because he's making us look up things that were done by a young prime George Brett. Right? Last guy to have 3 hits in a row in these many games, George Brett. Last guy to hit for a cycle for the Royals, George Brett. You know how I feel about George Brett, fellas. And I had a thing against Johnny Damon for a long time because Royals PR and whoever was in charge of that advertising did that stupid commercial where George Brett and Johnny Damon were fighting over the remote control, and they're comparing Johnny Damon to George Brett. I said, no, you don't ever do that. No. But I'm telling you, Bobby Witt Jr. is doing George Brett things. There's no higher compliment that I could give a baseball player. I haven't seen things like this. I haven't seen a hitter like this since George Brett for the Royals. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. I wouldn't compare anybody to George Brett like our whole lives, because he's been hands down by far the best team sport athlete in Kansas City history. And then Patrick Mahomes and Bobby Witt Jr. come along, and you feel like you can. I mean, obviously Bobby's going to have to do it for a really long time like George.
Right, and do it in the postseason.
And do it in the postseason like George. But in terms of what he's doing right now, it's fair. I mean, it's fair. It's fair. He's now 2 points off the batting title race, by the way. I think that he's picked up about 15 points over the last 2 days. You know, it's just crazy.
I need a cup of coffee or something. I'm getting too wrapped up in this. By the way, George Brett played in 9 playoff series, 43 games, 184 plate appearances. In the playoffs, his slash line was 337, 397, 627 for an OPS of 1,023. Think about that for a minute, what I just said. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Why do you always talk about George Brett for? I don't know. Go get a player and have him play in 43 playoff games to have an OPS over 1,000. Then get back to me, Chief. I don't know why I just called that imaginary person Chief. Condescending, but so what? That's what I am. We'll take a break. Stephen St. John live in St. Joseph, Missouri, singing the praises of Bobby Witt Jr., Bobby Hit Jr., Bobby 3-Hit Jr. on Sports Radio 810 WHB. you guys ever find my tweet, my post? I tagged you on it.
Yeah, I found it.
Try to include you.
I found it. There's some, like that cover of that Sporting News.
Yep.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. Send Vito, the intern, into the studio, because this is very important also. Because we've talked a lot about the Taste of the K taco that was announced as being available now at Kauffman Stadium. And I told him if he bought one and ate it, because it is $25, I would give him a gift card to Joe's Kansas City Barbecue. And I see that he has posted and tagged me on X that he ordered it, and it shows video of him eating it. And I've reposted that. And so now, since I feel like many of our listeners, based on us talking about it, may actually go out there and try it. But it is a steep investment. It's $25. I want to make sure that it's reasonably good, because I don't want people to get mad at us. By the way, Nate, would you eat this taco? Do you have any idea what we're talking about?
I haven't seen this taco, so I don't.
Why don't you watch your mouth?
It's a sight to behold.
So we're gonna. I'll explain this again for the benefit of Nate. That's good, because some people don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's called the Taste of the K.
Taste of the K.
It costs $25.
Okay.
Quarter of a hundo.
Right. Okay. And so here we go. It is a. All right, Sue, listen to this. Tell me if you would eat this or not. You see the picture. You just give me the thumbs up or not. It's $25 at Kauffman Stadium. Vito, the intern, ate it yesterday, so we're going to find out what he thought. A hot dog wrapped in a cheeseburger quesadilla, topped with barbecue brisket, French fries, lettuce, onion, sriracha Cracker Jacks, and 816 barbecue sauce. Susan said she'd try it. Susan said she'd try it. Hey, that's my girl.
Yeah.
She looked at it, and she looked like for a minute. She's like, oh, no, I'd try it. That's right, Sue. We try things. Try it. You're gonna like it. Yo gabba gabba. Nate Bukaty.
No.
Nate immediately says no. How did that not surprise you?
Not
you wouldn't even
interested.
try it.
Nope. No.
Just a tip.
No.
Okay.
It's just too much. There's no reason to put all those things together. Not for me.
Well, it's for the Taste of the K. That's the reason. Of course, there's a reason. It's only $25. Taste of the K taco.
I don't mind.
How in the hell are you going to know what the K tastes like if you don't have Taste of the K?
I'm looking at the picture right now. It looks disgusting.
Jake, weigh in on this.
The sriracha Cracker Jacks is what. That's.
Well, we just tell them no sriracha Cracker Jacks. That's all we tell them.
Then you're not having the Taste of the K.
Well, that's true.
It's half-assing it.
Yeah,
Good point.
I mean, I don't.
Point.
I want that for me. I would say yes up until that. It's like, why are you putting Cracker Jacks on my freaking taco?
Let's bring in.
Why are you putting a hot dog in my freaking taco?
I'm all right. That's not okay.
Hey,
I don't have like
for Mexican families didn't have a whole lot when we were younger. Hot dogs were utilized in many different ways.
You quarter that hot dog up, and
hot dogs and tortillas were a staple.
I had hot dogs on toast, cut in half, and like, here's a sandwich.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Mijo, sandwich.
That's fine.
Mijo, you want?
It's okay for a sandwich, but it's not okay for a taco.
Not with all the other stuff in there.
Well, I don't know.
Mijo, you want a taco, Mijo? Yes.
What gets me is like,
Grandma, this is a hot dog and a tortilla. It's a taco,
It's not just
Mijo.
a tortilla. It's a cheeseburger quesadilla.
Right.
That's yes.
Vito the intern.
Ridiculous.
That's like the grilled cheese burger that I had.
That's fine.
Like the buns were grilled cheese.
All right, let's
And the
welcome
burger in
Vito
the
the
middle of it.
intern
It's great.
into the studio and find out exactly how this tasted. Vito, congratulations! You'll get your. I think Jake will have your gift card from Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, so you can go and cleanse your palate with some delicious Joe's Kansas City Barbecue. And so now you ordered this. It was $25. Was there a long line? Was it difficult finding it? Take us through the process, and then
did
how
anybody
this
else
tasted.
order it? Did you see anybody else order that thing?
No, yeah, I actually, by happenstance, ran into a friend of mine at the game, and he said, this was like the third inning, we said, we're going to go get food, you want to come with us? I said, actually, yeah, because I got to go find this Taste of the K taco.
That's right.
And it's in the Rivals bar, so like section 250, like right field corner.
Okay.
And so we walked in there, and there's like an attendant there, and they've got this big sign for it, like right inside the door. And my buddy just looked at the attendant, and he said, we want to try one of those things, so can we get that in here? And he said, yeah. And so usually I don't think you can just sit down in Rivals like we did, but it was a Monday night. They weren't overly booked, and so we were able to sit down in there, and we ate in there, but you can take it to go. But anyways, that's where you find it. And so we got to the table.
Did you see a lot of other people ordering it?
I didn't, but when I asked the waitress, like, if it was popular, because this is the first weekend they've had it, she said that people that she works with, other people who are on the wait staff there in Rivals, she said it was pretty popular. So there have been a lot of people ordering
$25,
it.
is that accurate? $25?
Yes, 25 piece.
So you get it in your hands. How did it look compared to the picture that we've posted?
Well, it was a lot smaller. I thought it was going to be like one big giant taco, but it's like two smaller ones.
Okay.
And you can see, I posted the picture on Twitter, so you can kind of see it, but it's like two smaller size ones. So that caught me off guard because I thought it was just going to be like one big giant tortilla filled with all the stuff that they said it was going to be, but it wasn't like that.
Did you eat both of them, or did you split them?
I split them. I only wanted to try one of them. It was actually, it was pretty good, though.
Yeah, take me back to your first bite. How did it feel? Biting into the Taste of the K. How did the K taste? Tell me what the experience was.
The K tasted good. It was funny because, I mean, there's like French fries spilling out of this thing, and then there's the Cracker Jacks, and there's just like smothered in brisket, and then like the 816 sauce is like, it's not like barbecue sauce. It's like this like chipotle mayo kind of thing, like infused with barbecue sauce. So you can kind of taste them both. But like that was interesting because that was not what I expected. But that part was pretty good.
Juicy hot dog. Perfect.
Was it like this?
When I took the first initial bite, there was a great big pop, and then a burst of juices rushed into my mouth, and it was delicious.
Deion Sanders knows how to make a good hot dog right here.
The best. It was great. It was one of the best hot dogs I ever had.
So was it one of the best hot dogs you've ever had?
It was not bad, but they don't they like cut it up. They don't just it's sliced up.
That's what my mama used to do for me.
Yeah, they slice it up.
That.
Nice sausage.
Yes,
It was one
and
of the
so
best hot dogs I ever had.
they they start with like the base is like that first tortilla with like the cheeseburger quesadilla, and then they put a second tortilla over that, and then it folds in, and then that's when they put like the hot dog and the brisket and all the French fries and all the Cracker Jacks in it. And the Cracker Jacks were interesting because you could barely taste like the sriracha, but you could like kind of feel it like sizzling. Like there was a little bit of spice to it because I was with you guys. I didn't know what that was going to be like.
So was Cracker Jacks a good addition to the Taste of the K?
I don't think they necessarily ruined it.
Right.
So
What a strong endorsement that is.
So
I mean,
the question
they didn't
is,
ruin it.
Okay, you did this because you had to, and we'll give him. Let's give him $100 to Joe's Kansas City Barbecue because he spent money out of this. He one of the rare times someone has actually done what I asked him to do, and so I think this is. I'm very used to teenagers and college students that I live with. I ask them to do something, and there's a blanket refusal, and so I'm startled by this. That I asked you to do something and you did it, and so you will receive plenty of delicious Joe's Kansas City Barbecue for your troubles. But the question you must ask, and you must be honest, you go back out there to Kauffman Stadium, and you're under no pressure to do this, just on your own. Would you ever order this again?
I don't think I would, but not necessarily because it wasn't good. Like it was actually, I was pleasantly surprised with how good it is because I was thinking like there's just going to be so much going on in here and I'm just not going to like this thing. But that really actually wasn't the case. I felt like it was actually pretty good. But I never like go down to the rivals bar. I'm really never one to get a lot of like concessions at a baseball game, anyways.
What if it was in the regular concession stand area, though? Would you do it then? No.
Not for $25.
But you know what? You've done it now.
Yeah, you've done it once.
So
I've done it. I've got it under my belt, and I would endorse it because it was pretty good. And if you're into ballpark food and exotic creations like that, then I would absolutely go seek it out.
He would endorse it. He would just never eat one again.
Vito called it an exotic creation.
That's right.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's very good. Jake, do you have any follow-up questions before we let Vito go?
So this was last night?
Yes, this was last night.
How was this morning?
That's a great question.
Nothing yet.
Have you had any coffee yet or anything to move it along?
Yeah, like, is like,
how do you feel?
Yeah, no,
yet?
I feel fine right now.
Okay.
I don't know if Jake, if I disappear from your room midway through the show, you'll probably know where I am.
That's the strong stomach of a young man.
Go downstairs.
You didn't have to run off during the 7th inning stretch for any reason. You were good.
No, yeah, nothing has been an issue yet internally yet.
Were you booing the Diamondbacks when they hit Bobby Wood Jr.?
I was heated.
Yeah.
I was telling Bobby to go out there and take that pitcher out.
Vito was hot.
I was hot.
We
I
don't
was
want
upset.
Bobby doing that. Let the other guys do that.
I was just upset that they. At first, I was upset just because he didn't get a chance to
send Renfroe out
get
there
for the cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I put 2 and 2 together. I said that was a first pitch fastball. He hit that home run and he.
All the Diamondbacks fans on social media are saying that pitcher sucks, has no control. He walked in a run over the weekend, and we're stupid for thinking it was on purpose. So, whatever.
Looked intentional to me, but I'm just an intern. I don't know.
I'll take your word for it. Vito the intern says it looked purposeful and intentional. So let's see if we can get a base brawl tonight at Kauffman Stadium. Thank you to Vito the intern for his Taste of the K Taco review. We'll be right back after this on WHB.
It was one of the best hot dogs I ever had.
Tuesday with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated. HLAC certified to the highest medical laundry standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals, surgery centers, and medical clinics in and around the metro area. Walker Medical Linen Services in Kansas City and online at